Good morning, everybody. This is Diane at Plant Based Dallas, and we are going to make cookies this morning. Again, our no recipe, use leftover cookies, and we are going to start with some kidney northern beans. These great northern beans were in the freezer. I took them out earlier this week, and then I was going to make the blonde brownies, but I wanted cookies instead. So I'm going to use the beans as the beginning of our cookies. So I'm going to pulse those a little bit. Again, these are cooked white northern beans. And in with that, I'm going to put 2 very ripe bananas that I've had in the refrigerator. You know, when you put them in the refrigerator, the outside turns black, but the insides are still doable. A little ripe, but be perfect for part of the wet ingredients of the cookies. Alrighty, gonna put some of that in there with the beans. And I'm gonna add a little bit of other liquid. I'm gonna put some almond milk or almonds and water. Since I don't have any almond milk in here right now, I'm gonna just put a little bit of water, and then I'll add some almonds in a little bit. Probably I'm gonna have to do the almonds in the blender. Okay, stir it just a bit. Using the food processor is a little bit different than using the Blendtec blender because you have to open it up and stir it a little bit. Okay, since I've got it open, I'm going to add some cinnamon. These are going to be sort of oatmeal raisin cookies, but they're not going to have raisins. I'm going to put currants in them because currants are a lot healthier. I'm not going to add the chia seeds yet. I'm going to wait on that. So far I've added the banana, the Great Northern beans. I've always add a little bit of baking powder and a little bit of baking soda because those are our rising agents. And that is it for this part. Let's get the wet ingredients in here. Oh, a little bit of vanilla. Forgot the vanilla. So anytime I'm making any cookies, they're always going to have some wet ingredients and dry ingredients. And they're always going to have baking soda, baking powder, and vanilla usually. And then we'll add our flowers, our nuts, our seeds, and our fruits. Okay, so here's the wet ingredients right here of our cookies. We're going to dump those into the cookie bowl. And I'm going to add walnuts to these in addition to the currants. And remember, we just want to get our cookie dough to about the same consistency that you're used to with other cookies that you've made before when we ate differently. Okay, so there's our wet ingredients right there. Well, I bet I need some lights on in here. Sorry about this. Oh, that might help a little bit. Okay, there's our wet ingredients. Now, for the dry ingredients, I'm going to add some rolled grains. These happen to be a blend of 7 different grains. If you have rolled oats, that's fine as well. Okay. I have some oat bran in the freezer that I've had for quite some time. I don't buy it anymore because I just buy the whole grain, but I bought this at one point for some recipe. So I'm going to use some of the oat bran just to try and use it up because I don't really use it that much anymore. Now we're going to go for a little bit of sweeteners. I'm going to add some coconut, a little bit of coconut, and I'm going to add some dates. chopped up. You know, it would have been better had I put these dates in that food processor to put them in liquid, but it's a little late now, so what I'm going to do now is just chop them up into chunks, and they're just going to go inside the batter as small little pieces. Okay, there's one date. Cut this into strips. You know, it might be better to do this on a cutting board and not have the chance of cutting yourself, but for ease and quick videos, I'm just going to cut up 2 or 3 dates for the cookies into little bitty pieces. Okay, and one more. This will give us 3 dates inside the cookie batter, and this probably is only going to make 12 to 20 cookies. It's not going to be that many. Okay, and one more half of a date cut up. So this is going to be added sweetener. Our banana in here, very ripe banana, is definitely going to add some sweetness, so we probably don't need to add any added sugar. Okay, we're going to add some currants. Currants look like little mini raisins. They taste a lot like raisins, but they have a little bit richer taste. So we're going to add our currants and some healthy chia seeds and some sunflower seeds, some flax meal. Remember, we're adding this because these are healthy power foods. Some hemp seeds. And I've got some walnuts someplace around here that I have crushed into smaller pieces. So we'll put our walnuts in there. Now I need to put on a pair of gloves because I need to stir this around and get everything mixed up, and we'll see what our batter is looking like. I like to keep a box of these latex gloves in the kitchen for making burgers or cookies, anything that I need to mix up. Okay, I can already tell that it is way too soupy, so I definitely need to add more flour, but let's mix it up and see how we look. Well, maybe not. Another thing that would be good would be to leave this sitting in the refrigerator for a while so that the oats and the different rolled grains can absorb some of the liquid. But you know what? Actually, it's feeling pretty good. We may not need to add any more flour or dry ingredient. Got a few big walnuts in here that I'm finding, and I'm just sort of crushing those. Okay, so cookie dough might be a little bit wet still. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to leave this sitting in the refrigerator for a bit to absorb a little bit of this wetness, and then we'll come back and I will continue this video and we will make them into cookies and show you how they end up once they're cooked. Okay, there's our cookie dough batter that we're going to leave sitting in the fridge and letting the grains absorb the wetness. Actually, no, they feel pretty good. I may just go ahead and put those up on the sheet. I think I will. I think those are good. Let's bring the cookie sheet over. I don't actually think that it needs to go anymore. I've got my parchment paper. There's one full white bean that never got processed. Probably should make sure I don't have any beans showing like that. Okay, so you just sort of gently, not very hard, shape or roll. You don't really roll them, you just shape them into a little circle like that. And remember, the only spice I put in here today was cinnamon. You can smell the cinnamon. I put a lot of it. It smells good. You could add whatever spices you wanted. If you wanted it to taste more like gingerbread, you could add the spices that gingerbread or ginger cookies have in them. Ginger and allspice and cloves. All sorts of varieties on this. But I sort of wanted the cinnamon oatmeal raisin flavor this morning. I was at a friend's house yesterday. Shout out to Carol, who is going to try the plant-based journey for a few weeks. And we made up some cookies at her house yesterday that I thought turned out great. You want to make sure that your cookie balls are about the same size so that they cook evenly. So if one looks a little bit too big or too small, like that one, you might want to just take out some of the batter. Okay, these are coming along quite nicely. I need to put the oven in on 350, and since I have not quite yet figured out how to continue videos, I'll just post a picture of what these look like after I've baked them. Sometimes I like to put in the center of each one a nut after I squish it down. After I get these into balls, and I'm going to flatten them out with my hands. And these can be breakfast treats, because really everything in here is something that you might eat for breakfast anyway. And you have the beans in there that no one's really going to know about. Hopefully I processed those well enough so that someone won't get a whole bean in their mouth, but we're not going to tell anybody. Okay. Alice is back there working in her office, so she's listening, and I'm sure she's going to smell these cookies as they cook. Let me turn on the oven here. Okay, preheating the oven, getting that going. A few more cookies to process. And again, when you're trying to create recipes and create these healthy recipes, and just remember there's all sorts of substitutions you can use. We don't have to use the oils and the fats anymore. We can use these healthy substitutions that really taste just as good, and you know they're healthy for you. Okay, this one's a little bit bigger, but since I have just one more, I guess I'll try and take a little bit off these bigger ones and get one more cookie. And again, these are a little bit wet, that's fine. I mean, they're dry enough to make into a cookie, so I think we're good to go. Okay, there's enough for one more cookie. Okay, now what I like to do is flatten them all down so that they cook evenly. And again, any kind of nuts. The walnuts are the healthiest, so we like to include those, and any kind of dried fruit. Sweetens it up and gives it a little bit, and I like the nuts and the seeds is added. Okay, here we go. These are our oatmeal current, well, they're not oatmeal, they're 7-grain current cookies. We're going to cook these at 350. We'll probably go about, I would say 8 minutes, 6 to 8 minutes initially, and then we'll check on them. So I think I'll put them in at 6 minutes at 350. And we'll check back with you with a picture and let you know how they work. Y'all have a great day. Bye-bye from Plant Based Dallas.